Yep. Okay. Go!
Will you hand me my screen box?
Now go.
Jerry W. Hicks versus Bates Chevrolet. 2501754. All right, tell me your name, sir.
Jerry Hicks, Your Honor.
And your name, ma'am.
Good morning, Your Honor. Diane Warren from Michael Bates Chevrolet, General Manager at Community.
All right, today is the date scheduled on a small claims matter. You don't have to proceed in the small claims division. Mr. Hicks is sued for $4,000. You don't have to proceed in the small claims division, though, if you don't want to, defendant. So, in other words, if you proceed in the small claims division, both of you are giving up certain rights. The company is giving up certain rights, as are you, Mr. Hicks. You're giving up the right, sir, to seek in excess of $7,000. You're giving up your right to have a jury trial in this case. You're giving up the right to hire a lawyer to represent you in this case. And you're giving up the right to appeal my decision in this case. That is the same for Bates. Do you understand those rights, Mr. Hicks?
I certainly do, Your Honor.
Do you understand those rights, Ms. Boring?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you wish to give up those rights, Mr. Hicks?
I do not, sir.
You want to have the case removed?
I do not, I'm sorry. I want to proceed with the case.
So you waive the rights that I just enunciated?
Yes.
Are you sure? Yes?
Yes.
I just want to know, she has to take down what you're saying.
Okay.
Do you waive those rights?
Yes.
Ms. Boring, on behalf of Bates, do you waive those rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Are these two going to be witnesses?
Yes, they are.
I'd like you two to go right over there to the jury box. One of you can step in the jury box. That door pulls out and the other one can stand. Pull that door out there, please. And then one of you can go in there and the other one could stand outside. That is a microphone. I don't know what this means. Says defendant failed to repair the 2003 GMC Yukon. You listed the VIN number. Defendant also refused to release that vehicle to the plaintiff.
That's
Oh,
correct.
did you pay them $4,000?
I did, Your Honor. I have a receipt that I did pay the $4,000
To perform what type of work?
to repair my vehicle.
Yeah, I know, but
Well, I didn't know exactly what was wrong with it. I took it to Bates Chevrolet on the 16th of December and dropped it off. And on the January 7th, Megan called me and told me that the vehicle had serious internal problems and it would be cheaper or it would be like they could order a new refurbished engine and it would probably cost about the same as for them to go inside and try to figure out what was wrong with it.
okay, what did you tell them to do? That was January 7th of 25. Yes?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You took it in December 16th of 24, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor. On the, if the court allowed me, on the 15th, Megan advised me. that-
Megan? Ms. Morris?
Morris.
Okay,
She called and advised me that my vehicle would be ready in a couple of days. So I paid $4,000, which I have a receipt.
what did they do to the vehicle?
Pardon?
What kind of work did they perform?
They were supposed to rebuild the engine, put in a refurbished engine, put my engine back together.
Okay, do you agree with everything you said? Did they agree to put in a refurbished engine for the price of $4,000?
No, sir, the cost of the refurbished engine was $8,000. So we got an 8 drop, the vehicle was dropped off. We're not able to diag it until the 16th of January. Once the vehicle was diag, Megan did speak to the customer and explained that there's multiple problems with the vehicle and that we could try a refurbished engine. This vehicle has 251,186 miles on it, sir, and it is a 2003.
How many miles? 200 and...
251,186.
So she told him, is that right? Did you tell Mr. Hicks that you could try a refurbished engine?
So on the day that I had called, first and foremost, I talked to his son. It's his son's vehicle.
Just,
I had talked to his son. I explained that we had to start here, that there could be, at the end of doing the internal issue that it had, there could be more wrong with the vehicle. Total was a little over $8,000. Through Michael Bates, you take down anything over $2,000, you have to have half down to order these parts, correct?
Yeah.
So I did that. We take down a date of birth to authorize that because the customer obviously was not there at the time of the call over the phone. Then they put down the $4,000. We went ahead and did the internal work on the vehicle, and there was still issues that I had told them could very well possibly happen, and therefore it did.
And therefore what?
There it did. There was still more issues found after putting in the engine. There was not a couple of days. It takes almost 2 to 3 weeks just to get an engine. So,
All right, so the refurbished engine was never put in, right?
we did put it in because we completed that work.
I'm sorry, when did you complete that work?
January 9th, Your Honor.
And the car's been sitting there since January 9th?
Yes, Your Honor, because there were more issues with the vehicle, which we had told Mr. Hicks. So we were gonna do further diagnosis after the engine repair. By the time my technician pulled it in to do the other diagnosis on the vehicle, Mr. Hicks had canceled his payment. So we would no longer work on the vehicle.
So you didn't receive anything then from
So
Mr.
he canceled, he physically came into the dealership, did a $4,000 credit card transaction,
And then canceled it?
and then canceled it out from under us.
So you
Yes.
paid nothing?
no, sir, Your Honor, I have a receipt here. They still have my $40,000. I put in a dispute against Bates Chevrolet for the $4,000. And Bates Chevrolet responded back to my banker that I got what I paid for. They still have my $4,000.
We did dispute it, we did win, sir, so we do have $4,000 in-house after the back and forth. and
How much does he owe you?
He owes us $4,000 right now. The vehicle still has upper engine issues, not the engine itself. But again, Your Honor, you're talking a $251,000 oath.
Well, I know, but
Yeah.
you want to pay another 4,000 and it's still not going to be drivable?
It's not 100%. It is not 100%, but that
How
was
much was
not
that
guaranteed.
vehicle worth?
I don't have a value.
Do you have any idea how much that vehicle was worth with
I
251,000?
paid, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, sir.
No, I just wondered if you have any idea what that vehicle
I
was.
paid $3,000 for it a few months later in Arkansas.
A few months later, when? I don't know what you mean by that. In 2003 or just now?
No, I bought the car in '24.
Okay, so a few months before this, you paid $3,000 in Arkansas.
Yes. And I have notes here, Your Honor.
Where'd you get this, from a private seller?
Yes. I have notes here, Your Honor, that every time I talk to someone from Bates Chevrolet or went there and visit, I make notes. This is what I'm testifying from today.
I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you.
Well, when she mentions they, there is no they. I'm the owner of that vehicle. So if somebody else has something to say about what to do with that vehicle, that's not my business. I'm the owner.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Tim, Your Honor. On the 3rd of March, I called and left a message for the Chevrolet here to call me to discuss the matter. Well, she never called me back. I did hire an attorney, Blake Speck, out of,
I don't want to know your conversations with your lawyer.
okay. Well,
Okay, if he did something for you you think is relevant, feel free, but
I do, Your Honor. He wrote a letter. He also called, talked to Sherry and Megan and asked for paperwork in regards to this vehicle, that's what they've done. And neither one of them, responded to him at all.
all right, but we need
I
to,
have an attorney today.
no, I get it.
But when she called me and told me they had an electrical problem, I said, we didn't have an electrical problem before. Started, and about that too, Your Honor. I went to pick up a battery there one day. Megan said, he'll have the mechanic driving into the bay while I get the battery out of the back seat. Probably 10 minutes later, the mechanic comes in, and I have a date when this happened.
I don't want to hear this.
Okay.
It's okay, I'm going to come back. But I want to know,
May I speak on it?
no, I want to ask a question first, and I'm not sure how I want to phrase it, except to say, it sounds to me like you initially promised, and I'm asking you if this is true or false.
Absolutely not, Your Honor.
I didn't even ask you the question.
Okay.
How do you know? You didn't say that once we refurbish the engine, or get me a refurbished engine, that this is going to operate adequately?
A vehicle with 251,000 that is not running, sir, we can't guarantee you anything. And the vehicle was for his son, and I think he was just trying to get his son back on the road. We don't want to take anybody's money.
I know, but if he paid $3,000,
The total cost around was $5,000 for that motor.
didn't you tell me you paid $3,000? No, I know $4,000, but didn't you tell me you paid $3,000 for the car in Arkansas in '24?
yes,
That's what I'm referring to.
Sorry, I apologize.
So we're up to so now he's spending another $8,000 and the car isn't still drivable? It's not ready to go? I mean, that's like, I don't know what that's like. I mean, that seems like really bad business.
They still have my vehicle.
May I speak, Your Honor?
Yeah,
I completely understand your feelings, and
Well, I wanna-
initially, when I read this, I truly understand how you feel. However, if he's adamant about fixing a car for his son, all we can do is say, this could happen, or this could happen, and ultimately, it's his decision. I would not invest that kind of money in a 251,000 mile car.
did you have the discussions with him or
No,
did
sir.
somebody else? Who had the discussions
I'm
with
not
him?
gonna-
What did you tell
I did, when I called him and told him what was going on with the vehicle.
him?
that
And
he-
he'd already paid $4,000 down.
I wouldn't have known what he paid to buy the vehicle, that's not. it's
No,
not-
no, no,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
wait, no, I'm not talking about what he paid to buy the vehicle. That was a different issue.
Okay,
He'd already given you guys $4,000.
but when I sold the job and told him what it needed, I told him it was $8,000. I have to have half down to order the parts. The
Right.
parts are a little over $4,000.
Right.
This is by any customer that comes into Bates.
Right, this is on the 16th you had this phone
I had
conversation.
this conversation with this gentleman on the
And what did
phone.
you tell
Well, first I had the conversation with his son. We need to be open and honest. I told the son, because the son is who I initially had the telephone number in communication with, it is his vehicle. Whether it's in his dad's name or not, I don't know that. So I had the conversation, his son got extremely rude with me to the point to where I didn't feel comfortable any longer talking to him on the phone. At that point in time, he hung up on me. Mr. Hicks had now called. That was my line of communication. He apologized that his son was extremely rude to me and called me every name under the sun. And he asked, what is going on with the vehicle? I said, I had told your son that it came in for a check engine light and the vehicle wouldn't go over 10 miles per hour. It had internal engine failure. This is the cost for it. This is what you have to have down. This is where we need to start. Starting as in means we could put this engine in and you very well might have more issues with your vehicle. I do not know. But we need to get it up and running, at least with the engine in it, because that's what's showing that we have to do first. This gentleman had told me, absolutely, here's my birthday to authorize this job, which everybody has to give a birthday if you're not there in person to sign or to give, we take authorization over the phone with the birthday. I have gotten his son's birthday and his birthday. He agreed to the $8,000. Came and gave me $4,000 down. We put the engine in it, test drove it, still has issues. I called him, let him know that, and now here we are.
Jeez.
I didn't
Is
pursue
what she said-
anything or promise anything.
Is what she said just true?
It's not, Your Honor. She has never mentioned $8,000. I think, Sherry, I talked to her one day, and she told me there was no compression in number 1 and number 7 cylinder, and that my engine had a warranty. I said, well, you bought the engine. You get a new engine in here. $8,000, I think Sherry mentioned $8,000, and I said, what are you talking about, $8,000? The price of the motor. Where did you come up with $8,000?
Wait a minute, slow down. So you're disputing her testimony that she...
Absolutely, that's
Wait, you gotta let me finish. You're disputing her testimony that she said it's gonna cost $8,000 and we need half down or $4,000. You're disputing that?
I certainly am, Your Honor.
So what did she tell you when you gave her the $4,000 before you gave her?
I didn't talk to her.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
What did she tell you, or Sherry, or whoever you want to tell me, what was conveyed to you as to what would happen once you gave the $4,000 payment to them?
Okay, Your
Did
Honor.
they tell you 5,000 and you got a new engine?
No, Your Honor, at the very beginning, Megan told me that the engine, refurbished engine would cost $5,000. On whatever date I just mentioned, she told me the vehicle would be ready in a couple of days. So I went into the cashier on my credit card, paid $4,000 down, knowing I still owed $1,000 because I had $1,000 in the bank.
Because you had 1,000 what?
That I had $1,000 in the bank. I
Okay.
paid them for it, total price was $5,000. But after I made.
Tell them it was 5?
No. I told him I need half done what the total was. The total was a little over $8,000. He came in and paid half of it, which was $4,000 even. I don't know where any of these extra numbers are coming from.
Go
Not
ahead.
a clue.
Your Honor, anybody with common sense knows that a refurbished engine does not cost $8,000.
Well,
Everybody knows that.
well, I gotta tell you, I'm not savvy with vehicles. You can say that. I don't know that I would know what a refurbished
I am,
engine
Your Honor,
is.
I used to own a junkyard too, by the way.
Well, you know dealerships charge more anyways,
I
right?
know. They don't charge you $4,000 more than what the motor's worth. She gave me a price of $5,000. I never heard $8,000 till I went in and seen Sherry about where my vehicle was. She said, well, we're afraid you're gonna steal the vehicle. So we
Steal the
moved.
vehicle.
Yeah, they thought you were gonna steal the vehicle.
How are you gonna steal, how would he steal the vehicle?
No, Your Honor, what I said is, he had disputed the charge at that time, the 4,000, and we had put in a disputal for that, and he wanted to pick up his vehicle, and I couldn't release the vehicle without payment. Ray put $8,000 into the vehicle,
Right.
so.
That's
We
not
did it.
true, Your Honor.
And if I may, can I speak?
Sure.
Not only did we do an engine, we did, oil cooler lines, we did other repairs as well. I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but we did other things that led up to the $8,000 that he
The
approved.
equivalent though, I wanna tell you, of paying $10,000 for a car and then going out and paying about $25,000, $26,000 in repairs to get the car working, it just doesn't make any sense to me that somebody would buy a car for $3,000 that I can't believe would Blue Book for $11,000. And now he's got himself in a position, or at least a situation's created, where he's got to pay $8,000 more and it still doesn't have a drivable car. That's what you're telling me, right? There's other issues to deal with?
He does have other issues, Your Honor, but he also had it at 2 other repair shops before it was at ours.
Is that true?
Sorry, Your Honor.
Did you have the vehicle at 2 other repair shops before? Let me finish.
Sorry.
You gotta stop doing that. See, I don't wanna sound rude either, but she's gotta take down what is being said here, okay? Everything's being recorded.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you take the vehicle to 2 other repair shops before you took it to Bates?
I took it to Auto Lot, down the street. That was not the problem. I took that there.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I was having other little issues, electrical issues, the radio. And anyway, I took it to George's, which is on the other side of West Road. I left it there for a week in this parking lot. He never touched it. So I was able to drive it down to Bates Chevrolet and left it in their parking lot and talked to the mechanic or the associate in there. He said it'd be about a week before we get to it.
When the mechanics performed this work, did anybody go out and attempt to drive it?
After the repair was made.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and they still said what kind of problems
And that's
exist?
when he had a 3-cylinder misfires on top of the engine. Yes.
Well, this is a mess. So he's giving you 4, you want 4 more, and he still doesn't have a car that's operable, and he paid $3,000 in '24 for a car with 251,000 miles.
And it was his decision to put that money into that vehicle, sir.
Well, but you're the experts, aren't you?
Well, we.
I mean, that's a little like saying to your doctor, hey, I want you to do this, and the doctor knows it's, or lawyer, whatever it is. You guys are the experts. Couldn't you tell by running all these diagnostics as Ms. Boring was talking about as to what exactly was wrong with the vehicle? So you could say, this is the problem, this is the problem, and that's the problem, and that's gonna cost X amount of dollars. It seems pretty simple to me. Maybe I'm making it too simplistic, but doesn't it seem like that's the way it should have gone about?
It's really not that simple, Your Honor. So we did have to get the vehicle running with an engine. It had 251,000 miles. We did advise him that there may be other issues. He had electrical issues. He had it for down the road. He still has electrical issues. I mean, there's a lot of problems with the vehicle, but he did authorize the repair for the engine.
Mr. Hicks?
Your Honor, Megan told me that my vehicle would be ready in a few days. All it had to be, is her words, just buttoned up. That was her words.
All that way?
That all it needed to be was buttoned up. That's what her words were.
Do you have any estimates, written estimates for him? Did you give him any written estimates? I'd like to see those.
Yeah, I would too.
Did anybody say on there, hey, no guarantees, might need further work? I want to see the documentation.
Yes, Speaker.
I mean, you guys are the experts here. It seems to me that on estimates, you would have noted there still may be further issues to deal with, even if we put in a refurbished vehicle. That's the way I'd see it right now. Let me see what you got. Do you have any notations like that on any of this paperwork?
All I have here, I do have a written estimate on here. Well, it's the total for the estimate. You'll see a couple on here.
Tell me what the total for the estimate was. Read it to me. Just you can read it right there. Read it.
8,500 for the engine, intake manifold, exhaust bolts, the gaskets, the engine mounts, the coolant hoses, and then we also did a power steering pump, engine and bolts, necessary bolts and fluids.
Did anybody say there still may be other work that needs to be done?
When Megan spoke to him on the phone, this is our starting point. We always say that because especially when we don't have a car that
You should
is.
put it in writing. Did you say that to him?
I did, 100% I did. I said, sir, this is where we are right now with it. We have to start. My keyword is start with an engine. There very well could be more issues with the vehicle, but we have to start here. Here's the total. This is what I need down, and I need your authorization to do so. Well, how do I get that?
You-
Your birthday. I have his birthday. I'm here written, circled, and I even have the total.
Was all that work performed
Yes,
that you just wrote,
Yes,
that you
sir.
just read to me?
Yes.
And you say they didn't tell you that?
No, sir, Your Honor, they did not. And I always say, you know, it's easy to remember the truth, and it's hard to remember a lie, so, you know, somebody's not telling the truth here, and it's not me. I mean, I'm telling the truth.
Did it have on the estimate, you said 8,500, right?
Yes, sir.
it is.
Was that before or after he made the payment?
That was before.
And did you ever give him any kind of receipt indicating that the balance was going to be 4,500 after he paid the 4,000?
No, I do have the receipt for the $4,000 down and his date of birth. Again, that's what we do when we get authorization if the person is not in front of me. We get a date of birth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah.
All this other stuff that's adding on here, this is the first I've heard of that. Power steering.
Well, but you did get an estimate for $8,500, right?
No, Your Honor, the price was 5,000 for a
Did
refurb.
he sign that estimate?
I do not have a signature, Your Honor.
When was that, what is that dated?
This is dated 3/20, oh, I'm sorry, that's his birthday. The only date I have on here is 12/16. That's the day we wrote up the vehicle.
We have the date of when he put the $4,000 down.
Wait a minute, you didn't know, 12/16 you said?
That's when I dropped it off.
That's when he dropped it.
I know, but I thought you didn't know until after the beginning and you called him on the 15th or 16th of January. Didn't we already cover that?
So 1/17 is the date I have.
Let
That's
me
what
see
he,
the document. Let me see the document.
The date of.
I'm sorry this is taking so long, everybody. I just,
Well, Your Honor, I just want the truth to be told here, and it's not been told.
So what do you think you bargained for? See that, please?
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
What do you think you bargained for? An operable car after you gave them 4,000 and you owed them one more?
Your Honor, being a Bank Chevrolet, I thought was a reputable dealer, I assume they still are. But when I took my vehicle in there and was told that it needed a refurbished engine, or they could go into the motor and take it all apart, Megan said it'd be just as well, go ahead and buy a refurbished engine for $5,000. I said,
Megan told you that.
yes, sir, Your Honor, I swear, she told me. So I said, well, go ahead, I'll have a new engine in my car. Then I get the call, it's gonna be buttoned up.
There's just scratches and notes here.
With all this other stuff. Yes, I did sign for it.
Labor 3,800, it looks like you're saying estimate, right? 8,500 by Jerry Hicks, date of birth, and you have his date of birth on here.
I also have his son's date of birth, because that's when I started talking to, before it went south with them.
I did sign, Your Honor, to have the $5,000 motor put in. This other stuff, I have no idea what.
You signed what?
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
What'd you just say?
I did sign a paper. She had me sign a paper for the refurbished engine at $5,000.
Let me see it. Do you have a piece of paper that shows me that?
No, she has the paper.
Do you have that paper?
It's what's in front of you, Your Honor. He didn't sign it. He gave us his date of birth.
Well, maybe it may have been a sign.
Slow down, everybody, please. What is it? I mean, these are scratchy notes, my lord. What am I supposed to know here? I mean, you got $5,500 written in circles here. What does that mean?
So
Just those.
the $5,500 was just for the reman engine, and then he added on the power steering pump, the lower trans lines, the left engine mount, and necessary bolts and gaskets. And I do remember you authorizing that because you had argued with me that nobody, or you didn't argue, you just told me that no one else had found the leaks at the other place. And I said,
Do you think he owes you money now? You didn't counterclaim. You guys didn't file a counterclaim. So this car's just been sitting in the shop for all this time? What a mess.
Can I speak, Your Honor?
Yeah,
I have no idea where my car is. It's not in the shop. I don't know where my vehicle is at. Someone mentioned, I don't know who mentioned it, but one of these, I don't think it's this young lady here, somebody mentioned that they could get a quick claim deed, a mechanic's lien on my car and take it.
is the car still at the shop?
yes, Your Honor, and we have
If I
a,
went over there right now, I will see the car at the shop.
so we have a building next
True or
door to us.
false?
Yes, true,
Okay.
true.
I know how this should resolve. I'm just trying to think of how I'm gonna do it. Well, if you don't mind me saying, as an advice to you guys, somebody needs to keep better paperwork here. This looks like scratch notes that I would have used in 3rd grade. I mean, I can't even read this. And you got numbers all over here, like $5,500 it says, and it looks like it says doing this. What does that mean? Who wrote that? 5,500.
Mine.
And somebody else wrote 114,000 miles, it looks like, right? Do you have an extra copy of this?
I'm reading it with you, yes.
What does that mean? 114,000. What does that mean? Miles, it says next
Oh,
to it.
that's probably what the reman engine came with on it.
That's what those miles are. The word absence is miles. That's what
Okay. What's it say? $5,500. What's that?
That's just for the aftermarket. That's just for the price of the motor. That's how much the motor cost alone. That's why I'm really confused when it's just the fourth. How is that when the part alone was over 5,000?
I had something, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Megan did tell me that there would be tax on $5,000.
That's 300, right?
I don't know, I don't know what it was. But she said it was $5,000, and then later on, I was talking about it, because, I mean, they're nice people, you know. And she
Oh, I
said,
get
"My
it.
rate is gonna be taxed on that $5,000. That's what I fit.
Where does it say anything on any of these estimates? I'm gonna ask you to look at this and tell me where it says anything about $8,000.
Right up here, it says 8,500, okay, by Jerry Hicks, date of birth.
Yeah, but I didn't say,
4/1/47.
nobody told me anything about 8,500. She told me that he owed another 4,000. There's a difference. He gave him 4, I can do math,
Right.
4,000 and 4,000 is 8. Why did somebody write 8,500 on here?
Because I did tell him that it was $8,000 plus the tax.
Well,
So
that,
it was-
I,
I mean,
what,
we always round up just in case of, there's additional parts at the end, always happens. But that circle that is right there with his date of birth, everything on that is exactly what was authorized.
well, you have his date of birth on there,
And I
right?
have his sons also.
I know, I see that.
That's it again, Your Honor.
Yeah,
My son has nothing to do with this. He's my son. As far as authorizing this or authorizing that,
what do you intend, let me stop you a second. What do you intend to do with this car? You're gonna just assert a mechanics lien? Is that what you guys are gonna do? And
Your Honor, our business reputation is worth more than anything. I do believe there's confusion because if the cost of the motor is over 5,000, we have to pay our technicians.
Well, I get it.
Feed their families, there's labor involved. And I don't know if he's forgetting or what. I was not.
I found him to be believable, and I think he's got enough common sense, and I believe he's got enough common sense to recognize that you don't buy a car for 3,000, put 8,000 more into it on the IFCOM, that it will drive appropriately, and if it won't, that it's gonna cost me more money. That makes absolutely no sense to me. So I can tell you, I think,
Your Honor, may I speak?
yeah,
Please don't forget that he did take it to 2 other shops. And
He-
he was frustrated
he
with the other 2 shops.
well, the first one he took it to was something about a radio, and the second place it sat there for a week, I thought he said, at George's, and they didn't do any work on it, and he wanted to get the car running. True or false? So I think,
There was part.
wait, I think, in fairness, as strange as this might sound, I know it should happen, I just am trying to figure out a way to do it because you didn't file a counterclaim, okay? And I don't want to spend all day on this, but I want to do the right thing. I think what I'd like you to do is you should file a counterclaim if you think he's got another $4,000. Jennifer, I want you to listen, please. If you think he owes you another 4,000, you should file a counterclaim. And then, I'd like you to bring in the mechanics. I'm shocked that they can't figure out in the beginning how much money it's going to take, at least in a ballpark. I find it incredible to believe, like I said, that he would pay an extra $8,000 or $8,500 on the IFCOM that this 251,000 mile car is going to operate won't operate without the potential of further work. You can't just say, I'm going to fix this and this is what it is, and then not say, well, we don't know if it, did anybody lead you to believe that this was going to require further work?
no, Your Honor, did not.
Yeah, I don't believe.
I'll just,
Jennifer, I'm gonna send them down and I'm gonna have Bates file a counterclaim. If you think he owes you 4,000 or 4,500, you can file a counterclaim. And then I think we need to hear from the mechanics.
I'll bring the mechanics.
Now, I'm no expert. I hope you're gonna have some good questions for him, okay, Mr. Hicks?
just may I say one thing? May I get the possession of my vehicle from this show?
I can't do that yet. I'll move this case for you, though, I promise you. I promise you.
Okay, thank you.
I will move this case quick. Jen, when can I do this? Can I do this, if you think you can get the auto mechanic, I could do it next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Perfect.
No,
What?
on the 23rd, you have, yeah, we could do it at the end of your landlord tenants next Monday.
Good.
Would that work?
Are the mechanics gonna be available?
I'll make them available.
We'll adjourn this to June the 23rd at,
11:30.
and you go down and prepare a counterclaim.
Got it.
Counterclaim. And then they're gonna serve it on you. I just want you to be aware. They think you owe them $4,000 or $4,500 or 44,000 plus tax, which I guess would be another 480. I want copies of that, and then I want you guys to but John's bringing down some copies, Jen, and I wanna make sure those are given to me, okay?
Okay.
That's taken off.
Yeah, but we're not gonna resolve it today, so
Okay,
make it
Would
short.
it be possible for you to have Bates Chevrolet bring papers that I signed for work to be done?
Yeah. Well, they're saying they don't have them. They just have this approval order that was done verbally, and that's why she took your date of birth. But yes, any and all documents in any way related to this transaction, you are to bring here if they are not here today.
You got it,
Okay?
Your Honor.
So bring all the documents related to this transaction. Bring them, the mechanic or mechanics that worked on this. And we'll do it next week at what time, John?
11:30 on the 23rd.
The next month.
My only
Okay.
question, Judge, is service. If we could,
You're gonna accept service, right?
okay.
Yeah, you just accept service. Wait for them to fill out the counterclaim. Let's not make this any harder than we need to, and we'll go from there, okay?
I thought it was gonna be an easy case, but
Well, I don't think it's as easy as maybe as, that's all I can say. Thank you all. Thanks for your patience. Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
You have got to be kidding me. What? What is going on today? This is a joke. Today is absolutely an interpreter.
I need an interpreter when I cannot express myself somewhere.
Oh my God, sir, put that cigarette out. I don't give a crap that you are outside of this. What is wrong with everybody today? You know what, Miss Reed, we're gonna start bringing people in first. We're gonna learn how to act in a courtroom.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Ma'am? Ma'am? Can you hear it? Okay.
Come and go so
No case. Trust me, at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, I'm the one that needs a drink.